Farmer's Golf Tip is brought to you by DiStefano Hair Restoration. Check us out at drdistefano.com. All right, Bomber, we got our golf tip today, and that's pivot, right?
The pivot. As you know, we've run a lot of the tips so far with the hands, the arms, a little bit. Now we're going to teach you a little bit about how the body is supposed to work and pivot in the golf swing.
Okay.
Majority of mistakes I see is everybody believes they got to shift to the right, so off they go, you know, over the right field, and then once they're over there, they can't get back. And again, relating it to one of the tips with the low point off the left shoulder, again, if I stay pretty centered, that low point remains the same. Right. Remember that one?
Yep.
And again, we shift to the right, you've just lowered your low point, you moved it back.
Okay.
So you best slide back in, and sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't, right?
And that's where you get miss hits, that's where you get chunky, and you get everything else, right?
So the pivot is a great little drill. You can take whatever iron, and you can just rest it against your shoulder and just get your feet set. And the feeling is, and you notice when I do this, it's just a pivot. And now if you ask me like where my weight is, but I don't even like to think of it as weight, where the pressure is, I actually feel pressure right here on the inside of my left foot, and I actually feel a little pressure here on the inside of my right foot. So I never feel any on the outside, especially going backwards. So the pivot is simply a turning. You can also notice my left leg seems to kind of want to go a little bit towards the golf ball, my left knee.
Sure.
And my right leg actually kind of looks like it's going towards straight.
Right.
And again, that's a pretty good condition to be in, I believe anyways. So the pivot is turning this way. And obviously we can get Matt in here. Probably a little more flexible than I am. We'll get to that later, but Matt, get on over here. And again, you can feel the same thing with your right hand, that way, against your shoulder. And basically what you want to do is take it with the middle of your stance, and you're going to turn this stick and get it over that stick. And you can see when he does that, there's nothing on your outside of your right foot, correct?
No.
It's mostly on the inside.
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the things that I focus on a lot. I always tell my students to keep their right knee pointed at the ball.
Yep.
You know, so as they're turning, as long as they're keeping that and they're not getting
that way
overextended this way, because you don't hit it as far.
That
it's the whole rubber band thing. You know, as more you coil that rubber band, the farther it'll go.
Farther it'll go.
Yeah, so it's the exact same thing.
And another one for if you grab this with both hands that way, rest it on your thighs, a little bit down, further down on your thighs. And if he simply just turns a little bit with that, you'll also notice, you don't even have to do that, just keep your hand on the stick and just turn this way, and you'll feel that. That's another nice little drill. And the hips go about, pretty close to 45 degrees. It's about where the hips get to. Shoulders usually go a little bit further.
Right.
But mostly the most important, we're both talking about the same thing, the pivot. You need to maintain, you need to be centered over the ball, center. It's almost like you're better off in a tube. Picture yourself in a tube, and the only thing you can do is turn. You can't sway left or right.
Yep, swing inside your feet.
Yeah, the swing works best if this is your spine, we're simply just turning.
Yep.
And also if this is your spine on this angle, it's not, let's go this way again, it's not moving, it's centered, it's staying, and sometimes people will stand up. You see that all the time.
And again, one of the things you guys see the most is you guys see people trying to load up by shifting their weight back this way and getting outside of their core or center.
Well, the down has
like
a little of that to it. The down actually has that in there.
Right.
You're turning here, and then the down has a little, little movement this way. Then it turns out of the way.
But you see people wanting to load up and go this way.
They spin too fast. They spin too fast.
And now try to come back through, and that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about getting that. Now, I mean, similar to a baseball swing. When you in a baseball swing, you're looking at loading up like this, and you're not going back this way.
Oh,
your weight's here. You're
question.
going to load back up like this and keep that.
The two swings are very similar.
Right.
Where baseball, your weight is center at impact.
Right.
Golf, you want to drive more towards the front.
Right.
Where if I have a baseball, if you look at a baseball impact where I'm right into here, you look into golf. The impacts are similar. It's just the different rotation in the lower body. Where in baseball, you don't want to be up front because that means you got fooled.
Right.
Where in golf you want to be going forward because it's the easiest way to hit the target.
Right.
I'll relate that a lot to my baseball students, where we start by swinging here with a golf club, and then work it down and get, because the plane is so different, You know, but it's the same basic principles and impact and, you know, extension and all that good stuff.
I can't stand when a baseball coach tells the kids to swing level. Can you?
Oh no, no, that's
I
one
know.
of the
It can't
misnomers
happen.
about that. I mean, I
I've
used
never
to
seen a
do
baseball. I've never
lessons.
seen a baseball player like that.
I've done
you know,
the same
it's
thing.
there
It's not. It's never level. So,
Yep.
So the
I can
pivot,
understand that, yeah.
the whole deal with the pivot is to make sure that your spine, your head, and everything is centered, and it's just there. There's no moving it around, standing up. You want to stay
and your
as
power,
steady as you can be.
And the power source then.
There's a bunch of them.
There's a bunch, but you're talking about this creating this kind of elastic motion, or not elastic, but an elastic rubber band that coils, creates a lot of pent-up energy, and then it's released at the target, at the ball, and then the follow through.
Yeah, and the biggest part with that release is at the ball, not too soon. You know,
Right.
you
Not
get
the
that
casting.
you get that release too soon, then you're going to waste all that energy. You know, so you try to keep that angle as long as you can in your golf swing, and then
la Flippy.
explode.
A la the flippy,
A la Flippy
the
he was
flipster.
talking about. Yeah.
Yep. You never want to do that.
We touch on that one a bunch.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
I
it's
think
a
that's one of the hugest
genetic
things.
disorder in most people, don't you agree?
Oh, I agree.
There's
Hands down.
There's some gene in there that we get the flippies.
Yep.
It's the hardest
you
thing to
just
get
try to get that extra 1 mile an hour.
Could that be a gene that's like, we can go into a hospital and doctor and
It
get
would be
that
awesome
flippy
if we
gene
figured it
taken
out, man.
I
Something
wish
like
I
that?
could figure out the gene that makes your practice swing different than your normal swing.
I still can't figure that one out.
My wife is she has a bachelor's in psychology.
Sure.
So I keep trying to. We need to make $1 million just on figuring out why your practice swing is different than your regular swing, because it's every single
Has she
person.
figured that one out yet?
Not yet. That's
and
the
I don't
reason.
think any,
Still a golf pro.
You know, that's why you're still a golfer.
Exactly.
And not a multimillionaire.
Exactly. Not playing golf for a living.
Yes, because that's one of the things we've talked about too on other shows, on our radio show as well, is that psychological aspect of that. But really, when we talk about the mechanics of the golf swing, we're really talking about things that you practice, that you don't think about, and you just repeat them time and time and time again. That's the important part.
Yeah, and be clear. I mean, I give instruction, and you know, I think I know how I'm delivering it, and I'm delivering. And then they come back, and I say, "All right, show me what I'm working on," and it's like, "All right, that's not," you know.
Right.
It's kind of difficult, so you got to bring them back. So my students just been practicing, you know, how long? A week.
Right.
Doing it the wrong way, you know.
Right.
And you're ingraining the wrong
Yeah,
things.
so I think you got to be more detailed and just, you know, stay one thing and just let them, you know, even just working on the pivot, you could stand there and do that for half an hour with somebody. You really could, nothing else.
And that's the problem is people want to hit that ball as far
Yeah, they
as
hit
they
one
can.
good sandwich and they want to hit their driver.
and then
right?
they go-
Exactly. You know. Oh, I get that all the time.
Really?
You know, my
It's
first.
not about hitting the driver?
If I have
No.
a series of 10 lessons,
Yeah.
I won't get out of. I might go as high as a 7-iron after 5 or 6.
If you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah, if you're lucky, if you're doing well. You know, it's these clubs are what you score with.
And, and I believe the detail and the precision in making this ball hit this ball is right there. It's all in those little strokes.
Oh, no question.
It's all right there.
You know, I mean, I might hit a driver 7 times in a round.
Correct.
Or I'm gonna
We talked about
hit a wedge 40. You know,
Right.
whether with chipping, putting, wedge shots.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks. That's a great tip and pivot. And you'll be able to get that pivot on our website at wikigoodgolf.com or on our YouTube page as well. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Jeremy Fish of Achieve Performance Athletics, and we're going to talk about golf fitness. And he's going to try to get Jimmy into some interesting positions. I don't know what kind of positions they are, but we'll try. We'll be back with more Wicked Good Golf right after this.
Think I better take a mulligan, yeah, yeah.